Hi, in this episode I'm going to discuss the phase 2 of glycolysis, which is the energy producing phase. It contains 7 reactions, it produces 4 ATP and 2 NADH. Production of several high energy compounds are involved in this, for example 1,3-bis-phosphoglyceracetate and phosphenol pyruvate. ATP is produced via substrate-level phosphorylation, which is the removal of a phosphate group from one of the substrates in the reaction, and the end product is pyruvate, which then goes on into either aerobic or anaerobic metabolism. So, I know this is a lot for one slide, but it's quite simple to break down, and you can pause when you want. Reaction 4. It's catalyzed by aldolase, and it's a splitting of fructose 1,6-bisphosphate by aldol cleavage into dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Now, in this phase we're counting triose phosphate isomerase, the conversion of dihydroxyacetone phosphate to glyceraldehyde 3P as another reaction in its own right. That's classed as reaction 5 here. So overall this reaction is 4 and 5, producing 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate or 3P. Glyceraldehyde 3P is then converted to 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate, which is a high energy acyl phosphate. You take in 1 pi organic phosphate and you produce NADH and H+. And the enzyme for this is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. Reaction 7. It's actually an ATP production step. Requires magnesium ions yet again, as many reactions, as reaction 1 did, and it was 3 in phase 1. Required magnesium 2+. Phosphoglycerate kinase is the enzyme that will do this. As you can see, it removes this phosphate, attaches it to ADP to produce ATP and 3-phosphoglycerate. Hence why there's no phosphate there and just no minus. Phosphoglycerol mutase turns 3-phosphoglycerate into 2-phosphoglycerate, so just an isomerase. All it does is isomerise this, takes that phosphate group and switches it with this hydroxy group to give you a phosphor in the 2 position on the second carbon, while the hydroxy is moved to the 3 position. Then there is reaction 9, which is catalyzed by enolase, gives out a water molecule, and it converts this to a high energy enolic phosphate, phosphoenol pyruvate. Just basically the loss of this hydroxy group at the bottom, and again, and this hydrogen here to give you that water molecule that's leaving. Then reaction 10 is the last ATP producing step, and that also needs magnesium. Forgot to mention reaction 9 requires magnesium as a shielding for one of the intermediate steps during this reaction. This is for the magnesium for the ADP to the ATP, taking a phosphate from phosphenol pyruvate over the enzyme pyruvate kinase to produce pyruvate, the main energy for aerobic and anaerobic metabolism. So as I said, reaction 9 needs magnesium. For the main reason of this intermediate to be stable, it's stabilised the anion when the proton has been removed there, obviously because then this double bond forms. And as you can see, H+ is lost, OH- is lost, giving us water overall as the output for this. Magnesium is also required here, as in any other reaction involving ADP or ATP. So these are the irreversible reactions: hexakinase, PFK1, pyruvate kinase. All the reactions involving them have large delta G values, and the other 7 reversible reactions are common with gluconeogenesis, so it can go the other way. The enzymes catalyse both ways. and the net yield overall is 2 ATP and 2 NADH, which act as 4 to 6 ATP once they're converted. So as you can see, one molecule of glucose, step 1, your hexokinase, that's irreversible. Step 3 is irreversible, the conversion of your fructose 6-phosphate to your 1,6-bisphosphate. And pyruvate kinase, which is in here, just find my mouse. Pyruvate kinase, yeah, reaction 10 is also irreversible. However, these can go backwards for gluconeogenesis using other enzymes and longer pathways. Yeah, that's it for this episode. Next episode I'll be discussing glycolysis and the diseases involved and areas commonly using glycolysis purely for energy. Thank you for listening and I appreciate your time.